You know, in all this discussion that we're having about did Jesus teach a way of nonviolent love of friends and enemies? Or can I go to war and kill people? Can I kill people by abortion? Can I kill people by capital punishment? There underlies it a continuing problem. And it's a human problem, but it underlies this one in particular. Not just this area of religious life or life, but it really is the unspoken problem or one of the unspoken problems that we're facing when we deal with the fact that the Gospels teach explicitly Jesus' rejection of violence and enmity as consistent with his way of discipleship, his way to eternal life. And the problem, I suppose, generally could be called the problem of self-deception. Self-deception. Deceiving oneself. Telling oneself, convincing oneself that something is true that we know downright well is not true. This is what underlies so much of this discussion on violence and enmity, Jesus and war and capital punishment, abortion. The self-deceiver is someone who refuses to see something of critical importance that would make all the difference in the world if they saw it, but they refuse to see it. And therefore, what they present as the truth, deep down they know it's not the truth. They know it. Self-deception goes on in all kinds of worlds. Just like the story of the alcoholic family, there's the alcoholic and destroying the family life and spending the family's money and beating up the family and the kids and so forth, and no one sees it. And the way they speak about that in that world is, there's an elephant in the room. And no one, everyone, makes believe there's no elephant there. No one sees it. The elephant just isn't there. And yet, it's kicking over the furniture, it's stepping on people, it's defecating on the floors, no one can have any peace, and yet, there's no elephant in the room. Well, this is the problem. This is the problem with self-deception in the area of Jesus' teaching of nonviolent love of friends and enemies. The gospel teaching, unequivocal gospel teaching. It is that in order to justify violence and enmity and say you're following Jesus, I mean, we're not talking war, capital punishment, torture. We're not talking about little things. In order to justify that kind of violence and destruction of human life and hatred of people, despising of people, despoiling people, you cannot see that there's an elephant in the room. And the elephant's name is Jesus. Jesus is standing there. He's standing there gazing at every Christian, everyone he has chosen as his disciple. And in his gaze is a question. Are you saying that I would kill people? Are you saying that I would cease loving people? Are you telling the world the truth about me? Are you telling the world and yourself the opposite of what I said is true? The only commandment I ever gave you, he'd be saying, just by the gaze alone, in the presence of the Christian. The only commandment I ever gave you that was unique to me was at the Last Supper, and I called it my new commandment. I give you a new commandment. I said, love one another as I have loved you. I am the model for the love that you're supposed to have for each and for all. The same love that the Father of all has for every one of his sons and daughters. I am the model of what it means to love in a way that's salvific, a way that's human, a way that is of God. No one else. Not John Wayne, not J-Lo, no one else. Now, he stands there amidst the wreck of war, the destruction, the turmoil, the madness, the death, the slaughter, the agony brought about by his disciples under the name of just war or just capital punishment or just abortion. He stands there in the midst of it and he says, you're saying this is what I would do? You're saying this is following me? You're saying this is to love as I have loved? Are you deceiving yourself? Really deceiving yourself? Whether you're a bishop, a priest, a minister, a lay person in the pew, are you deceiving yourself? Would I ever have done this? The place of the new commandment in Christianity is very serious, very severe. In section 1970 of the New Catechism of the Catholic Church, it says, the entire law of the gospel is contained in Jesus' new commandment, love one another as I have loved you. In section 2822, which is a section on the Our Father, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it says, the will of the Father that is to be done on earth as it is in heaven is summarized in Jesus' new commandment to love one another as I have loved you. This is not a throwaway line. And so, telling ourselves something that is not so, refusing to look at a fact that is there, but we just will not look at it, refusing to see that there's an elephant in the room that contradicts everything that we're making believe is happening in another way. This is at the heart of the Constantinian church, or the churches, if you will, refusal to teach, proclaim, and live out of Jesus' way of nonviolent love of friends and enemies. And, quite frankly, this is what's behind putting out there as something equal to or superior to Jesus' teachings a just war theory composed by a pagan, Cicero, 60 years before Jesus, and saying that the result of this, as it has been seen in 1,800 years of Christianity justifying war, that the results of this is what Jesus would have be the result that his disciples would bring into the earth, would bring to the earth. Carnage, slaughter, destruction in the extreme under his name. There's a lie going on here. A lie that we are telling to ourselves and that we're telling to each other, that we're collectively reinforcing. Because misery not only likes company, but those who are committed to what they know is untrue like the company of those others who are committed to what is self-evidently untrue.